Here we go.
Okay, hello. Welcome to the Holistic Systems Cooperative meeting, and BR Wonga might be jumping back in, but yeah, we're gonna start. So, all right, I'm gonna share my screen with you, and just it's been a little while since I've where is this? I want to get this app going. It's been a little while since I'll just assume everybody is still here and listening, even though the cameras are off. I get it. Yeah, it's been a little while since sort of had a had a kind of a big presentation as far as like what the structure is, because we've really been just kind of working on, okay, well, what are roles, what are we doing, who wants to be involved, or not. And I actually made this on the this was a oh, all right, here's PR Wanga. This is a Miro board that was from last fall, last summer or fall, about, what is Holistic Systems Cooperative, and, it's still pretty cool. So you can check that out if you like. The link is in the chat, but I just wanted to go over, trying to amalgamate, a lot of the things that, have been in discussion for a while and that, been pulling in from different sources, right? Like this isn't I didn't like create this. I'm just trying to, bring it in. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to challenge myself, to, I thought 5 minutes, but I think maybe 7 is better. So I'm going to just challenge myself to talk about all of this in 7 minutes. And if I can't get through it in that, then that's on me. So basically, so I like this idea of a contribution-based ecosystem. So, because we're talking about like value exchange, and I know that value exchange, and resource sharing, at least sometimes, or for me, can get a little, ethereal, but trying to kind of bring it into, into tangibility. So I like thinking about it like as a contribution-based ecosystem. So anybody that contributes, to the community, is contributing value, right? And so the key here, right, is that like we get to decide like what contributions have value, and we get to decide how much value they have, right? So we live in a certain system, a certain economic system now, where it's kind of decided, right? At least there is a base level of like, when you contribute this gives you value, right? So like when you go and you work at a job and you help produce something, you get paid money for that. If you like birth a child and raise a child, like, yes, we know that has value, but you're not actually receiving any, you're not, generally speaking, receiving income for that, for your work in that contribution. So, this is, basically we're just saying, okay, well, are us independent contractors, freelancers, and, entrepreneurs come together and create this contribution-based ecosystem that benefits everybody. So, how to do that, it can get a little complex, but essentially, what we're saying is, if we can tokenize the value, if we can decide what the value is, and we can, assign value to certain things in certain ways and tokenize that, then that can create an ecosystem, where everybody really does get, like more value than, out of it than what they put in. So, to make it kind of, like tangible, right? So if you have, some sort of small group of people, if you have 5 or 6 or 7 people, and everybody, kind of comes together and shares value with each other, and, I don't know that you need a tokenized system for that, because everybody can kind of keep track of it, right? In a smaller group or in a family system. But once you sort of start getting a little bit beyond that, 10 people or 20 people, it's hard to keep track of it. So that's where like this, the idea of a currency, comes into place, right? So we have that's, money, but basically we're saying, okay, we're going to create a currency that we assign within, within our ecosystem. And we're going to decide what the value is and how we exchange that. So, there's this way where like, where like I want to help everybody, and I want to like build a, website, for Biarwanga's project. And, there's a couple people that want to, have, consulting sessions with me and all of that. Right. And so I want to do that, but I can't because, or it's not a good idea for me to, because there's only so much me. Right. So, at a certain point, I want to be, help people, but at a certain point I want to say, okay, well, if I'm contributing to this, if I'm contributing to this community and helping, person A, B, and C, like, how do we mark like what I'm earning? And then, how can I then exchange that? Right. So in a way, we are kind of, keeping score, but we're doing it, in the game that we're creating. So, that gets to kind of like the details. Right. So what is a contribution-based value exchange? What might that look like? Right. So contribution accounting. So basically there's kind of, I think there can be two ways. I can, explain more about this, but there can be, there's a way, a system that, I have that I can propose where there's community-based value, right? So like we say that, in kind of this expertise framework, expert, intermediate, novice, we basically say, okay, 1 hour of everybody's time is worth, this amount, right? And then there's going to be these tiers, right? So an hour of an expert, person's time is worth 10 tokens, intermediate 5 tokens, right? We have to measure the reputation to make sure that that's, happening. So there's kind of this community-based, or more objective. And then I think a second way that can work in tandem with that is what we've been doing with Coordinate, which is more subjective, right? Which is there's these pools. So, there's a pool that everybody can then, give to. So if, let's say, whatever, I'm a lawyer and my expert time is worth, as much as maybe somebody else who's, whatever, an accountability buddy or something. But then this gives an opportunity for the lawyer for other people in the community to say, oh no, I really like having that lawyer in the group. I want to give them, more and to kind of compensate without having to create a market, and everything that comes along with that. So, mechanisms, I mean, basically what we need, we just need logs. So, I'm running out of time, so I won't go into details of that. We can talk about it if folks want, but basically we just need to log all of this. And, now, in this MVP way, we might just do that, through spreadsheets. There's the member portal. We might do it in this easy way, but in the future, and hopefully the near future, we can do that with blockchain and wallets and a collective treasury, right? So that way things just kind of, I can transfer my tokens into the community to another person. It all happens, within this DAO framework. So that's the kind of key to make this, like, I think, doable for a small group of people. The cooperative itself, what are the group agreements? We all have to agree to, to something. This first group agreement, right? Are these, all right, I'll finish up. The first group agreement, we made are these, purpose statements. And then the other like big thing is the membership, right? What constitutes a member? There's certain privileges you get, and there's certain accountabilities that you have. So, what do people need to contribute to the community pool in order to be a member? Right. And then how do we think of value sharing? So I'll stop there, but these I think are kind of these main ideas. And I think there's a way, whereas as I was listing this out, I think there is a way where all of these can connect together to basically allow somebody to contribute some kind of value, whether it's internal operations as a role or, do a skill share where they can say, oh, okay, now I've gained this reward for that. And this reward has utility within this community. All right. So I will end there. I'm going to stop my share, and there's more to speak there, but I'd love to hear if anybody has any thoughts or any input or other ideas or complementary ideas, and can take notes. But I think that, some of the idea of presenting all this is to say, like, okay, this is a framework for how this can work, but there's a lot to it. And so where do we start? What are our goals? Where do we want to go? And,
Crickets. Um, well, I'm well versed in all of this contribution tokenomic stuff. But Josh seems quite interested in this kind of stuff. I don't know if you've participated in any kind of, contribution based token projects.
yeah, any thoughts on this, Joshua?
Yeah, I mean, you know, last year, I mean, I was, you know, uh, in a different way. I was a part of a residency where it was like you're a resident artist, you got your co-working space and hours of a rental space, and I just poured my hours into it, um, producing my own events, my own business, fiscally sponsored from this group in San Francisco, Intersection for the Arts, and I was building this platform, this company that was fiscally sponsored called Mad One Media, and you know, in pouring my hours in, I was like, yeah, I mean, what I it was there were moments where I was like, what am I doing this for? Like, what is this? I had really had to dig deep, um, and really get to the values. Who do I serve? What am I going for? And so I don't think, I don't think this, when you tell your wife or your parents, like, oh, I'm like working for tokens, I'm working for exchange. I don't think this is like everyone's language. This is like a very special thing, you know, and I've explained this group to a couple people. Hey, I facilitated this group and I'm getting in with these different people. But so much of what I do as an artist is like feeling out the relationships of who's there and what is the soft cash? What is the soft cash is the term means like the connections that you gain from these spending your
Hmm.
time on a project and these experiences. And I mean, ultimately one of those people that you meet, one of those connections becomes your donor or your you know you cash in on that connection, but it's so much not cashing in, so much soft cash, so much spending your time, and I'm constantly reassessing my writing process, my free write in the morning. It's like, here's all the things I want to do, here's all the things I'm good at, here's the people I'm going to reach out to, but it's a lot of searching, soul searching in this exchanging my tokens, my things. And Rob, I'm like you, I get people ask me to counsel them and coach them and stuff, and we might negotiate a fee or something like that. But ultimately it becomes like an exchange, it's like a co-coaching, sort of like this. There's a group or I work with a coach. They asked for me to coach them and we kind of exchange ideas. Um, so I'm really open to it. I'm interested in the structures, how it all works. It reminds me of like a co-living situation. The form, because in my time in community, my time, co-living with people, it's like, okay, you do these chores, you take out the trash, and you do 2 hours of cooking, and now you I mean, it's all very coinified. It's all very, in the coin world, but it's like,
Hmm.
it just really solidifies that time is all you have. Like money is very important, but how you spend your time, that's your whole life. That's everything. So yeah, it just really solidifies that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
I've been, I mean, my entire career, professional career, um, uh, I've been freelance, the entire time. So, since 94. Um, So and I pick the clients. I've never just opened myself up to just like taking whatever work. I'm quite picky, because I only want to work with people that I care about what they're doing, and you know, occasionally because it's like good paycheck, or it like helps me like boost my profile. If it's like with a Samsung or a MasterCard or something.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm happiest working for like nonprofits and artists and activists, working with them. So, uh, but that doesn't build my retirement savings. I have
Yeah.
not. I have zero,
Yeah.
um, and I just turned 50. So
That's no laughing
uh,
matter.
I'm in debt, and yeah. So but see, I'm not alone in that, and it's actually noble what I do, but it's not. I'm not supported by society for being noble, you know, and I felt like that's what's lacking in our current system, in our current financial system. Positive feedback loops aren't there, in the right way. So that's what I've been uh, working to do is like, okay, so when I help a startup or I help a small business with their brand development, with their marketing, with their production, and I make them look really good so they can make more money, they can like grow their profile. They can't afford my value at the start of that. And even like most small businesses can't really afford my value even when they're in full flow. But if there's a way for me to like gain a piece of their pie through my efforts, through my elite efforts, then or any effort, whether it's elite or not, for any effort, if I'm deferring the value, um, so that they can get an a help up, a lift up. If I'm deferring value, I just want a mechanism so that then all of that deferred value that I put into projects, many of those projects will not succeed, like you said before, you know, um, but that's okay. That's like risk mitigation, or hedging your bets, or spreading it out. Taking a lot of bets. Um, so I just want to make sure that the bets that do work out, I get that return off those bets. And so essentially, the way I look at it is, it's in this new DAO tokenized world, with each company, each project, each product line or whatever can have its value encapsulated, tokenized. Um, then it's like we're able to get like micro stocks, or get like almost like stocks of projects and companies, so that then without them being like regulated type stocks, like too much red tape and too much friction. But at least I have points in their system, so when they grow, then those points become valuable. So right now I have points in Haifa. Um, I have points in the company I started at D Studio. Um, uh, but as we can start to spin up our efforts and our companies with these contribution based value sharing models, with the immutable ledger attached to it, whether it's Coordinape or Haifa Tools, or any any sort of blockchain ledger system, then I know that my value isn't lost. So that I can always go back and make a claim. Because that's the other thing. It's like it's hard to audit. So it's like, in the same way that the music industry works really well, where people's music and licensing, and like when you're in like a stock, and so that's fractionalizing the usage of your work, and you're getting a piece of that pie back. I want that to be for everything. So that's what we're we're trying to discover here without losing the human thing. And earlier you're talking, Rob, about family units being too small. I don't know. It's like I think like each household in the future can be more aware of their GDP. Um, and then as far as the tasks and we can make it more fun for the kids even by having this sort of coordinate style system. That's like Task.io was formed on that. With that, the founder of that had kids, and he's like, he wanted to be able to like tokenize the chores or tokenize, give positive incentives for good behavior. And yeah, so.
Yeah. Thank you. And just to just to tack on to that, I think it's the hope here is that it's the idea, it's the combination of that like small group that knows each other and has trust with each other and creates relationships with each other, but then the scalability of a large group, right? Because companies and conglomerates, they become economies of scale, and that affords them a lot of power. So yeah. Thank you, Basil. Biarwanga, any thoughts on all of all of this?
Yes, Rob, thanks a lot. I was listening, and everyone is really sharing a lot of amazing work that down here we here in Africa, and especially Uganda, where I come from. As an individual, this is the future. I see this is the future, and this is the way things should be. Decentralized autonomous organizations are the way to go. And I'm really interested in all this kind of talk. And this is why we at Nancy Green Initiative, we partnered up with a decentralized autonomous organization, which is called Fliptown, trying to borrow from them the way they're working and all that. Actually, recently, I think they're working out something with MasterCard, which is really amazing in a decentralized way. Fingers crossed that the final steps, hopefully the project will go through. And listening to all this has sparked up my mind in a way that as an individual and as an organization, we had we were acquainted with something to do with a crypto kind of exchange, where there's a tokenization kind of exchange with something called seeds. There was somebody here in Nachivali, which is a refugee camp. He was using something like that. I think you must be acquainted with him if you're really acquainted with seeds. And these are the people who introduced us to seeds. And unfortunately, recently we haven't it's really hard to get into the system. We don't we don't understand it yet, but this is something that we want to be part of. And we see this is the way to go. And this is why I'm here. So whenever I'm sharing with you people and whenever I'm listening to you, this is something I'm always learning and trying to learn more. And just to give a live example, there's something that, like I shared earlier with the Palmer City demonstration site that we are working on as a collaborative effort with 3 organizations and another CBO. We come up with a challenge whereby it's not easy to entice youth out here to kind of join these kind of projects, whereby you have to dedicate your time, put in a lot of work. And in the beginning, which is like really typical manual labor, like to set up a kitchen garden, like in a really because the place we're trying to like set up was previously it was more like a dump site in a valley where disadvantaged people are putting up and having their livelihood. So we are trying to transform this whole area, and you can imagine like turning up this soil, trying to get new soil which is really clean, because this soil has been all infected from all the years that this place has been a dump site within the town. So you find that the youth cannot really they most of them don't understand this thing, and those who understand can't really dedicate their time because there's a challenge of economics and all that. So having to this kind of tokenization whereby somebody can have the hope and see his account grow and know that they can exchange this value for something. I can exchange this value and get knowledge. I can exchange this value and probably access a tool. I can exchange this value and probably access a book, or I can exchange this value and take on an online course or a physical course where I can like harness my skills and all that. So this is something that we are trying to like emulate and then transform, and we are really learning, and we hope that the project with MasterCard goes through with Fliptown, which will be like more of a blueprint for our town, because Fliptown is a really decentralized organization that has like from the social to economic and political kind of like, not the other dirty politics, but the kind of like trying to democratize and make people like sovereign and operate in a sovereign way. There was this really interesting book that
You just got muted, Yarwanga.
oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
There was this book that I was reading. It's called The Sovereign Individual. I'm forgetting the author of the book, but it was a really amazing book whereby all these concepts come up, and all what Walter was sharing with having no, Bezo, what Bezo was sharing, having mountains like be sovereign things, and then have mountains sue organizations. All these ideas are just like coming to life, and with all these kind of engagements with holistic systems, it gives me an opportunity to like have a platform and an experience whereby these kind of ideas that we are thinking of that are really foreign and urban to are really, I would say, foreign and strange to our kind of like traditional setting. Like for us, our traditional setting is that our parents, I would just borrow from what Basil, or if I'm quoting him right, when he shared and he was saying that having to tell your spouse or partner or like your parents that you're doing something like freelance and you're getting paid in tokens and not in real money, like if it's really a strange idea for people like in the US. So just imagine having to tell that putting that in an African setting. So it's quite challenging, and most of the people don't understand the work I'm doing, and everyone is always asking, how do you benefit? How do you do that? But I tell them that this is a kind of like, it's a symbiotic kind of like multifaceted kind of setting whereby everything depends on each other. If you're taking care of nature, and everything like will take care of you. Like for example, we introduced the bee project, and we have these bees.
We lost you. You're not muted, but we lost your sound, Yarwanga. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, Birawanga, when you're able to, yeah, just keep talking, or when you're able to jump back in and just we'll hear you. Um Joshua, I know that you had some time, some time sort of parameters. How are you doing on those?
Yeah, I have to jump off. But I would like to keep checking back in, and just it's good to know what this is, what community meeting means, and co-working Skillshare, I'll always be up for that too as well.
Yeah.
John, what do you do again? What's your passion or your
I'm a writer and a podcaster, so I have a platform called Mad One Media on creativity as practice for mental health, using the arts as a wellness tool belt for all the challenges that people go through on the mental health spectrum with mental health experience. That's been my thing for a little while, and I've been building it for about 3 years. So mostly writing and speaking personal experiences, a little bit of interviews, a little bit of creative outlets, but that goes to speaking, coaching, facilitating as well. So always getting into those type of things. You're in the media in the media and podcast world as well, right?
Why I come from mass media stuff as first like a photojournalist and commercial photographer, and then a, a commercial like TV commercial director and cinematographer,
Yeah,
and then a documentary cinematographer and
it's cool.
producer. But during COVID, I even before that, I saw that with the podcasts, building a strong network of podcast hosts,
Yeah,
podcasts like globally, then that would be able to cross promote the important stuff we're doing.
yeah.
So when we came up with like the tech, the hypha tech, the seeds tech, we would
Mhm.
be able to then like spread that, cross promote and co-brand. That's sort of part of my, so coming from advertising at the end before I left all of that behind to focus on this, um, the network of podcasters, of influencers, podcasters was going to be like a key part of kind of growing this new world that we're trying to build. It's all these niche audiences.
Yeah, yeah. And the cross promotion, I think I write that word down almost every other day about I know that's the magic ingredient is someone who's, not advertising himself or putting himself out there enough. But the cross promotion, I mean, I definitely have my 4 or 5 people that I have worked with in the past that are, have a following and how to work with them. And so the networking stuff is always, yeah, I think that's mostly the daily grind for me is sitting at the computer and how to get it out there, how to get the business, how to get the stuff, the followers and the customers. My mom read my piece today and she's like, how do we get you more subscribers? And I was like, well, I uh I ask myself that every day. I mean, that's the daily scratch the head moment,
Are you doing
how do I get the juice, But
are you doing let me see, I'm on your site now. So are you doing the
I'll be
video
right back.
podcasts?
I'm not doing video. I know that's a big mistake. I know video is how things track and what people watch. Um, so mostly an audio creator that wants to pair with like animation and kind of stock footage kind of thing. Kind of, I don't know if that's, you know, you know, uh, something that has any traction, but usually I record the audio. I do like a sound, like a score with it, and then I'm in the process of like, how does that become a video? Do I just use the text or um, do I have some sort of animation feature? Do I record myself and make it into an animation? So
Mm.
that's
So you
been a
do like
lot
a
of my
creative
the
treatment.
creative, yeah, the creative, and that's been a lot of my, like Midnight Gospel or stuff that's a podcast, but it becomes an animation as opposed to just talking heads. And
Yeah.
the people I work with, they're like, you got to get your video, you got to do more video. So I'll do little snippets. I'll do a little poem or a little song or do some snippets of video, but I haven't been good about releasing stuff as far as like social media and more video stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing running like YouTube ad campaigns on podcasts, video-based podcasts. I'm not even focusing on the audio,
yeah,
even though it's spread out across the platforms. It's like it's like a super low episode per episode, watch or listen. Because I haven't been focusing on promoting the audio only version because I want to really tap the video. But yeah, what you're doing, if that's what you want to do at a certain point soon, then how long are they in general?
it definitely varies. I have interviews that are like 20 minutes, but I also have short 2 or 3 minute, standalone kind of narrative pieces. Some are about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, so short.
It very much varies. Yeah, I specialize on the shorts. I did a whole series that were like 90-second blippets of like different people. So I like really short.
Okay, that makes it easier. Yeah, connect with me.
Okay.
Are you in the Discord?
I have Discord. I think I think I told Rob that I wasn't able to. I have it. I have Discord and I can see it, but
But like what else you use? SMS, WhatsApp?
yeah, I use WhatsApp. I use email, all the traditional. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we
Well,
let's Rob, you have his email, right?
that's the HSC Discord. I forget. Were you saying that you weren't able to
You
access that, Joshua?
try to get into that and see if you can get into that. And then otherwise
Here's my
that's
email.
his email.
I
Okay.
I I'm a novice at Discord. I know I have it. I have it set up, and I went in and I changed things for this group, like made it a little more. But uh yeah, okay, accept invite. Okay, I didn't do that before. Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah, well, let's
There we
talk
go.
because I definitely have some because that's good. That's like the core, one of the core business is of D Studio is to do the video pod, to support, the video side of podcast.
Yeah,
Um, so we can see if there's any opportunity there. But I'm liking what you're saying. We might have some ideas um, to convert. So I'll send you an email right now.
that's great. Yeah, I'm an email guy. We asked what I prefer. I'm a emailer. So yeah, send me an email and I'll respond. And Rob, the personal connections. If I'm not leaving my house, I have to meet people somehow. So, personal connections, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I think it is. It's about personal connections. It's about, creating relationships and creating trust. I think that's the core, and as we've gone along, I think we continue to discover that over and over again. Um, I feel like, if is there a way to, well, I think I said that, but like, how do we coordinate, as a larger group, to be able to gain, really like gain those resources that come from that, but still, have a trust and a relationship. It's sort of like, right, like any group, like there's professional network groups and you join and there's, people from different skill sets and you gain, connections and referrals. And
I
that's still sort of like one group that does have its own, it's like that has value. I don't know. I just, I wonder if there's a way to supercharge that value.
well, I'm still up for doing that. One of my pitches to you, one of my 6 groups, Rob, when I was like, here's all the things that I could facilitate, and I mentioned the um gift circle. I mean, I've only been a part of it once, but it's exactly what you guys are talking about. It's like you have something to give and you have something you're looking for, and the whole group is just like announce what you're looking for and announce what your offering is, and it's like people naturally line up, and like me and me and
It's barter. Yeah,
yeah,
barter. Yeah, yeah.
barter, yeah. And me and Basil are naturally connecting, and this is a potential working connection. But in people saying it, there's a note taker, and of course they make an Excel, and so all the contacts are already in. You don't have to say, "Hey, can I get your number?" Everything is in the Excel with the person's offering and with the person's what they're looking for. And so, I mean, I did this group. It was like 6 months ago. I can't remember when I did this,
Hmm.
but I had so many really specific things. Like I had like jobs, internships for people. I had so many specific things, and yeah, I forget. Mine was ridiculous. It was like help me be an event producer for it was like, yeah, but some people were like, let's hang out and do art, you know, and it was
Yeah.
all geographical. It was geographical too. It was like one area. So I thought that was so cool. I haven't forgotten it. I've wanted to do it, but I think something like that, you know, where you come with, you know, you're looking for something and then you're also giving something, then it naturally, and then that can be the framework of tokenizing.
Mhm.
Then the value, and you can be like, here's your natural exchange, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what, yeah, what we can use, like the co-op tokens potentially. Definitely, you know, starting with like Coordinape. You know, Rob has created that sort of skill, because the whole idea behind Skillshare was to do that sort of, you know, one, you know, barter kind of, you know, what can you do? What do you need?
It's
Um,
in there, Rob. You've created it. I mean,
yeah,
it's
Yeah. 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 That's this member portal, right? Which is,
okay. I'm not official in any way. Discord, or remember, I'm just a guy that shows up to the Zoom, I guess. I'm not an
yeah.
official.
Yeah. Well, at first we were like, as soon as like somebody came in, we're like, join the member portal,
Yeah, yeah.
and we learned, right? So it's, it's, we're just having to build, right? So it's like, these are all people we know, but like the member portal isn't like active yet, So now we're saying, I mean, there's active people, but we're still figuring out the MVP version, of how to facilitate that. But we have this member portal, right? Is the, it's the general design. It's just like what you're saying, it's like there's, it's a database, right? You have your database of needs and offerings. Somebody can look through, they can look through by category, by most recent. And then, each person has has their profile, right? That you can go, how we link, but you can go to, oh, this is her profile, right? So this is like each person has their profile and they talk about it. And then, we need to figure out, right, like how to share value. We have this thing, this like contribution log, which, we're just trying to figure out like how I think that's why we're saying like we need to start small, but to start, and and I think that it's going to motivate people. I think people are going to be more excited to do it, myself included, if there is kind of a way to tokenize it,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And, right. And you have right here, we have our skill shares, so there's, we have a knowledge base. We have, right. So, these are the roles that people can take on. But there was
This is all
something you're
within
saying,
Notion.
right?
It's
Yeah.
all within Notion, right?
Yeah. So you have that, right? You have like that needs an offering. Oh yeah. And then there's this other thing, that, that I put, there's, which is, let me show you. This is, Kanan's, he kind of created this thing. It's just like what you're saying, right? It's like a member profile, but we're calling this now like a whole person resume. So I wanted to connect. I wanted to connect with Kanan, this person here who Basil introduced me to, because I need somebody to help with websites, right? Like I've got website work and I just need somebody who can like work on websites. And so, I talked with Kanan, we had a great meeting, and, basically he said, he's like, oh, yeah, like basically his skill set. He's like, yeah, I'm like, a front end web developer, or I forget, or back end web developer and software person, right? So I left the meeting with that. And then I looked at all the jobs and the specific things that I'm like, I don't actually know what that means. And I don't exactly know like what you can help me with just by that. So, we were talking about it. He created this whole person resume. So he's got everything in here, okay, I do, I work on databases, this is system administration. These are the tools. This is the exact kind of code I have. These are the, okay, but also he makes podcasts. He does media. He writes, he like creates podcasts. He edits. He wants to get into workshops, and talks. He's starting to work on a musical instrument shop, right? So if everybody has one of these and gets as granular as possible, then we really, I think, have a great idea of understanding how to match each other up, you know? It's that like super database, you know, we come in, right? And we say, oh, okay, well, these are my top, you know, we have the needs and offerings page. So we say, oh, these are my top 4 or 5 needs right now. Because my needs and my offerings, you know, are going to change over time. But if each of us has this like super granular profile, then, right, like I know right now, you know, it's like I've met you a few times, Josh, right? So it's like if there's a job or if there's something that I have that I could offer you, you know, I can go into your profile and I can say, oh, okay, I get it. He can do this and I understand what skill level he's at, or he wants to do this. So he's going to be a novice, but maybe I can bring him in and he'll be able to learn. I can throw a few bucks his way or something, you know? So all that.
I'm thinking that let's in the next couple of weeks, let's imagine, because I like this like full thing that Keenan did.
The whole person resume or
We
profile.
should be able to, we can train the Cascade AI to do this, and that becomes our member portal, and people come in and then the AI asks them the questions to sort of build that database for us. And then it's like, what do you need? And then so we train that Cascade AI, if it's that good, to be able to do the matching and recommendations, like, oh, talk to this person, or let's put this one to this one, and you know, then we have this sort of machine interface that's like helping for the matching, like a love site, but better.
Swipe
Yeah.
left to volunteer, swipe right to get paid.
Yeah. So you want to put up a really good picture so people will volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the tools, right? The tools will come, you know, but right, like I could build, you know, we could like, you know, I have lots of imagination of the different tools we can build, but I think that what we've seen is like start at this MVP kind of level, you know, and folks have sort of brought me to that and expressed that, right? Like here's the skill share, like spreadsheets, like Google freaking Sheets, you know. Here we shine up, you know, can we do, how can we do things in a simple way, but still that's, you know, effective. And then when we sort of like figure out the nuts and bolts of it a little bit, then, you know, we keep sort of scaling up into better and better tools. I don't know. That's a balance that I've seen, you know, rather than like build a whole bunch of tools, you know, and then, you know, hope people will come, but like, yeah, I don't know, do one at a time.
This is super exciting. I'm so excited to get in there and really be a full member and connect with you, Basil. I got your email. Hey, I'm going to loop back around. Peace.
Yep.
Thanks, Joshua. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. There we go. That's how I want you to leave every day.
That's how I end. That's how I end
we
every
send
time.
you out.
Okay, see you guys later.
All right, talk soon.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Yeah. Very exciting. I know. As we know, I get excited about it and want to go off on it. And Basil too. Biarwanga, right? So sorry, Biarwanga, you were talking, and then you left for, you know, like 4 minutes, and then you came back, and we were off and running on something. So, but also you said in the chat, I really need to introduce the team at Fliptown to this group. They will be a perfect fit. That's great. Biarwanga, what's Fliptown? And you want to jump back in?
Yeah, yeah, thanks a lot, Rob. And thanks a lot for the question. I don't know whether this will be an intrusion. I don't know. Fliptown is doing a lot of amazing work, and I really can't speak out volumes on what they do, rather than having one of their own, like, just take you through what Fliptown is all about. Here, just a side note, one of my friends is called Muhaji Musinga. He's from the Fliptown. He's one of the co-founders. I just called him today, and then I told him, if you're not doing anything, or if you have free time, just come in and just listen in to this meeting and all that. So he was just here in the background listening to all this amazing conversation, and I think he will do volumes to speak on Fliptown. I'll just speak on the few things that I was talking about before I left off. Thanks a lot, Rob, for organizing this amazing space where we can just be here and then be ourselves and share a lot, and then get to learn a lot, and also have a space where we can make these things more practical and all, and having it run on the ground. This is something that we have been, as an individual, this is something I've been struggling to bring on the grassroots, but I didn't know how to run it. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the capability, and I didn't have the right collaboration and the right kind of partnerships. But this is an amazing space, and it's just amazing that after a long time I can be still welcome here. So you've been sharing a lot with the updates where the team is so far. I was a little bit kind of lost. The last time I left, I was trying to join onto the member portal, but I couldn't join in because, as you know, all my devices, I couldn't access all my devices and all that. But within, I think what I'm kindly asking is that one of these days, maybe we can have a sidebar or sometime where you get to fill me in, and then I get to get back fully. I would like to have myself on the member platform. How do I do it? So I would like to ask whether there can be some time where you can take me on the run and then fill me in, and then I catch up fully and then be the same as everyone in the team. So with all that remark, I think let's sing a share with Mandy, share with everyone, and then just get acquainted with him.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited speaking to all of you. Actually, towards the end of last year, I watched a video while I was scrolling through YouTube, and it was Holistic Systems. I think you had a meeting and you shared it on YouTube. I was very excited listening to all that stuff. And today, when Crispus told me about having a meeting with you, and then I've been in the background listening in, and I was amazed by everything that you people are working about. So Monansi Green Initiative has been one of our partner organizations because we've been running as a decentralized autonomous organization in a nation like Uganda in East Africa, where the idea of decentralized autonomous organizations has not even reached at any level of being incorporated in the policies and the legal frameworks. So we have been working with a lot of these local NGOs and different companies and private stakeholders to make sure we have a decentralized organic organization, not one that is actually on the internet. And we've been experimenting with tokenization, but at an organic level where the community comes together and they understand each person's different values, the skills and everything. And every time they're willing to offer these skills when we have a joint project, they all get different tokens and everyone gets to know the amount of tokens the other is getting in the community. So whenever we have, for example, an event that is upcoming and someone has a number of tokens that they've received from giving to the community, giving their skills to different people in the community, they have accumulated some number of tokens. They can actually access the event because they have this number of tokens and something like that. So Fliptown, as a decentralized autonomous organization, has been working on the ground and almost now 6 years. You can imagine 6 years, but without a legal framework in our nation. But we are doing much more work than every other organization in our whole community. The political system is shocked because we have over 45 WhatsApp groups that are locally empowering the people, and they can talk about any kind of community development, even go up to a level of demonstrating and have the local authorities change their decision, but in a good way, not in this way of attacking. They just get together because the leaders are also on these kinds of platforms. And I think they get hit by the reality of maybe very soon I'm not going to be a leader anymore, and this is the right way to connect with the people. So it's a very exciting thing when I heard you talk about the value, how to afford value to different activities in the real community. And I'm very excited about this. So I think the name Holistic now makes a lot of sense to me. And we are actually very excited working with Munasi Green Initiative. We have a project that is actually going on right now where we are starting gardens in the, let's say, in the ghettos, the places where most of our people are very vulnerable. They don't have enough food. They don't have enough access to even opportunities, even education. So we make sure we have a kind of mindset change in these communities and let them know that they are a whole ecosystem, a circular ecosystem, and they can develop out of their mind exactly what they need to survive in their locality and have a full life of happiness, of working together and connecting. And we want them to know, even as we work. Actually, Biarhanga was talking about having to get involved. I feel like there is something that goes on when we have to get involved with the communities, because in the hierarchical kind of structures, the leaders are actually mostly white collar and they never get involved, you know? So to work with these communities, you cannot talk about sharing the values and the skills that the people have in themselves without you putting your own skills out here and showing them how it's all done, connecting with them as a community. So with different organizations, we've been to several communities, and there is a program that we call the Real Life Community Program. We go to the community, experience the real life of the community without without any kind of notice to anyone. We want to come into your community, learn to adapt to your community, and in a very short time, even before you notice that there is a stranger in the community, we are already looking at the different ideas that you share in your community and trying to draw out flow charts that kind of connect you in some kind of thing like that. We have actually found ourselves switching on very many communities that were actually in a very dormant state just because the neighborhood is not aware what kind of skills are available locally. So you find people get ideas of it's even possible to work on our own road without waiting for the government because we are the ones using this kind of road. And this is a kind of tradition that has been here for a very long time, but has been forgotten because of so many systems coming in to influence the people. Now they have forgotten that the surrounding is their own and they are supposed to be custodians. They're supposed to grow the trees and love the trees and the whole community. This is, I believe, the real holistic approach to life. And I'm very excited having to share with all of you on this platform. Thank you so much, actually, to Biarhanga at Munasi. Thank you so much to everyone that is here. I've heard about Rob, I've heard about Newman, and I'm sending my love to all of you people. Yeah. So
hold on one second.
Yes, please.
I have somebody jumping in, Paul Mutz, who's here with me in Tulsa. He's Ugandan, and I want you to meet him real quick. And I feel like we should. He was one of my first hosts for Better Worlds. And if he can get on here, so Rob, check it out. But yeah, where are you? Where is Fliptown? Is it in Kampala? Where?
Fliptown is actually based in Muwende, but it has done projects in Kampala. It has done projects in now over 7 districts around the nation.
Okay,
and all these projects are actually purely decentralized with open transparencies to these communities to show them that you don't need a kind of structure that is governed somewhere you don't know, where you don't even understand its roots very properly. You can work as a community and develop from the inside. Yeah, we have these solutions from within the local community because they know the problems of their communities better. Someone who is seated at Meta is not going to really develop the local social media kind of platform that my town needs because he's definitely going to be developing for his kind of community. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I didn't get what is your name?
My name is Muhanji Musinga.
Okay.
Yeah, Muhanji Musinga. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, so I asked Paul to jump in real quick just so he get another quick rebrief on what Fliptown is doing, because I want I want to look at like staging a podcast, video podcast recording at some point when we can get you guys on a good video quality, like a smartphone or something, to record when you have good connection. So say hi, Paul. You're on mute.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're good, Paul.
Yes,
Nice
Paul.
meeting you, Paul.
Nice to meet you too. Can't see you, but all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're quite unfortunate because right here we're in the dark. Unfortunately, as you know, Africa, Uganda, the electricity is all blacked out. So we are scooped up here on a small phone and we're trying to make the best out of it. But it's amazing to have Paul here. And
Are you-
thanks,
are you-
Bezos.
Are you in Kampala?
No, our organizations are based in Mubende, which is
District.
Mubende is 100 kilometers from Kampala.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm from Uganda, in case I didn't tell you. So I know everything.
Thanks a
sure.
lot. It's amazing to have one of our own here. It shows that we're in the right company. We're in the right company.
So tell Paul a little bit what Fliptown is doing, so he can get a quick idea.
My greetings to you, Paul. My name is Mohanji Musinga, and I'm one of the co-founders of Fliptown. So Fliptown actually, in a very short sense, we are one of the very, very first decentralized autonomous organizations in Uganda, starting up in around 2016. And we have actually gone ahead to use modern tools and all these social media platforms to actually convert our communities from the kind of local communities that used to scroll away their time on social media, and this time put out exactly what's on their mind. Let the communities know about your skills in the locality and have everyone be able to connect to each other in a very useful network that is actually, right now, I cannot say we are recognized by the local legal framework, but because of our work, we are recognized in the entire community. And we are going on actually to get a partnership with the MasterCard Foundation with our status of a decentralized autonomous organization. So we've been working in Mubende community. If you check out our social media handles, all of them at Fliptown DAO, Fliptown DAO, they are a very good demonstration of a local story, starting in 2016 with young graduates from the university who get back to their hometown, and then they discover that their skills are not actually directly needed in the community, yet the community has sent them to school to go and learn a lot and come back and use this kind of knowledge to develop their community. So we said, how can we really have this knowledge in our heads affect our community every single day? How can we make a decision happen in our community every single day? We said, we are already in a very blessed generation where technology is almost everywhere. Everyone has a smartphone and we can link up almost all the time. So we started out with WhatsApp groups, and up to now we have about 45 different WhatsApp groups in Mubende town with different people categorized in different, according to their interests. And then we tokenize every time we meet or we have a collective event where we have, for example, recently, one of the biggest telecommunication companies in Uganda, which is MTN, had actually planted poles, their fiber poles, without compensating the local people. And then through our WhatsApp groups, these people came together and then they demanded for compensation. And because MTN was not willing to compensate, all these poles had to be removed. And this is the power of the voice of the people, but without any kind of central authority. So it has attracted the politicians, it has attracted different schools, and they all use these different WhatsApp groups for every time they have to use the common voice of the people. So we have been to different towns on a project called the Real Life Program, whereby we export our kind of organization and structure to demonstrate decentralization in the youth of very many different towns, because the youth in Uganda have actually reached a point whereby they have lost hope in the government and most of the systems that keep promising things. So they are looking around the neighborhood and saying, what can I do with my friend right now that can actually help us survive? and we are telling them, look here, if you have a skill, this is something that you can sharpen and market in your local community so that your community alone recognizes you for that value, and you can get exchange. For example, you can get medication just because you are an artist and you have accumulated some points for performing on different events. So we are actually, I overheard Newman or Rob talk about a kind of AI system to develop these local connection and different values of skills and everything in a kind of set. So we have drawn out a kind of physical map for that kind of thing, whereby without using the internet, because most of our people actually don't use the internet. When we were starting out, we were focusing a lot on the internet and looking at things like Ethereum and trying to copy their model of the smart contracts and everything, but it was not very applicable in our community. So we started open contracts whereby if you show up for a collective community event, you earn points for that. And that is the kind of tokenization we are doing. So the whole community knows I have to show up so that I can pass my skill on to the community. And then in turn, I'm also getting tokenized in a way. I'm being purposeful in my holistic system of the community. So everyone has a purpose in the community. Everyone has a reason to come together for an activity. Even when we say we have, for example, an activity of maybe visiting a hospital and trying to look at how they're dispensing of the waste in the clinics and everything. Even if you're not concerned about the community health system, you're not a doctor or something, but by showing up and sharing on such an event, you are building a purpose in the community. And we've discovered that actually, when the people come together and they understand their skills and everything, they start sharing at a level that is not just exchange of money. They start looking and getting deeper things from each other that you cannot even buy with money. There is a lot of resources that have been made redundant or have been paused out because of the kind of systems that are built around money. And yet these are things that we can actively utilize to change our communities, and especially to maintain a kind of, let's say, something that we can project in the future and say, maybe in the future, we are sure we have a very disciplined community, or maybe in the future, we are sure we have people who care about nature and they are not just going to wipe it out because every system is pressing upon them to have to exploit every kind of system. So I believe like the holistic system kind of community is going about this approach. We've been doing this and using a lot of local partners, especially NGOs and private stakeholders, to implement action on the ground, but almost without any kind of taxation, because value is directly tokenized and we don't have any intermediary between us and the community. The community feels like, everyone feels like they are the small child they were in the community. So when they have to go to play in the playground, they are calling each other as friends. And when they have to come and clean maybe a water source, get all the plastics out of this, that's the same way they're actually reaching out to each other, and they see value in every small thing, because these ideas are actually coming from them and being voted by them, and they even find the right time that they can implement these kind of things. So we have a lot of ways that we have been triggering the action in the community. For example, we've been using videos to go out in the real community. There is a time we had a water source dry up, and then there was no there was no water in the whole of Mubendi municipality. But then there was no right cause, and no one was giving out the right information about the source of water. So we had to go up to the source of water, which is a dam called Kateve. And then the dam was drying up because of all these pressures on the dam, encroachment and everything. So we took videos of that place, and the community was talking about the importance of protecting our own water sources. And everyone just jumped onto this. And then the locals were giving us space, others were giving us trees, and we just protected the dam, and everyone was happy about that. So I feel like as we go about the holistic the holistic kind of approach to civilization. Everyone has a purpose in the community, and this is powerful. So I also just jumped in like you, Paul. I just jumped in like Paul. I have a partner of mine called We Are Hunger Crispers from Munansi Green Initiative in Uganda. So I've heard about holistic systems. I once watched their video online. So today when they were discussing and I was with him, he invited me. We have a joint project that we are working on. So I said, why not? I'm coming through. I just want to listen to what kind of stuff you're talking about. And yeah, sure. I'm really happy meeting you, Paul, and the entire team, and looking forward to doing a lot together.
All right. So I have a few questions, and this has to be kind of quick because I have another meeting in like 9 minutes. So what is your mission? In one sentence, what is your mission? What are you trying to get done?
Our mission is actually to create a purposeful world for everyone that we are living close to.
Okay. What does a purposeful world look like?
A purposeful world is a world whereby there are shared responsibilities and we are in the natural flow. We take care of each other. We take care of the planet. We take care of everything that is around us because everything has a usefulness to each one of us in the whole cycle.
Okay. You're using a tokenized system, right? So what can you do with the tokens? If I do something and I get tokens, what do I do with them?
Right now, we are using the tokens, for example, to access our events. If you have a certain number of tokens and we have a community event, we have a lot of different groups. For example, our talent group has the biggest talent event that happens in Mubende once every year. So when we have this kind of event, we have it in Uganda shillings. It's at 20,000 Uganda shillings. But if you have tokens that are actually more than 65 tokens of Fliptown, you can access the event free of charge because your tokens already weigh as much as this kind of thing. And we do all this and in several other exchanges.
Okay. So basically, if I come and I work with you and I get tokens, basically do good for the community, and I get tokens and I have about 65 or more, depending on the event, I can go to this artist event, like a concert, basically, kind of thing.
Come again, please.
Like if I have 65 tokens in this particular case, I can go to this 20,000 shilling concert. Yes.
Please come again, Paul. I didn't get you well.
Okay. So if I do good, I come to your events and I help out and I get the tokens, right?
Yes, please.
Then I can go to this, let's say, I'm just using a word like, let's say it's a concert. So then if I have the tokens, I can go to this concert for free instead of paying the 20,000 shillings. Yes.
Yes, that's by exchanging the value of your tokens that you have been giving service to the community and value to the community. Let me give you another example. If, for example, you are a performing artist and you have performed on these events to entertain the community, and then you have accumulated a certain number of tokens. These tokens can actually be used to even treat you when you go to a clinic of a doctor in our community, in our simple decentralized community. So the tokens are not just about entertainment.
Of course.
Actually, it's cross exchange of value.
Okay. Then I already asked what the mission is.
Another example that Singer leaves out. Here at Munansi Green Initiative, we have a challenge whereby we need people to plant trees and all that. So in most cases, we exchange value with since we have a collaborative kind of effort at Munansi Green Initiative with the people at Fliptown. In case people join us, and then there's a program that we had which was under the real life experience where we would visit families, and then these families offer space, and then we tell them, oh, hey, listen, you have a compound. This compound is really empty. Maybe let's plant a lemon tree. Let's plant a mango tree here. So if these people really engage with us, and then they accept us to plant a tree at their place, so we reverse these kind of tokens. The people who come in who donate the trees because we need seedlings and all that. So we exchange these kind of tokens in an environment where, for example, the farmers, somebody comes and then he has tokens, he needs to access maybe some kind of machine, he needs let's say they're harvesting maize and he needs to mill his maize off the comb. So the exchange, this farmer, there's some rich farmers that we know here who own this kind of machines. So we tell them, hey, listen, you have coffee. We have some unemployed youth who have no jobs. Instead of you paying, here in Uganda, if you want to pick coffee, a kilo of coffee is paid at 700. If, like, let me say you're employed in a place, in a farm, in a coffee farm where they're picking coffee for 700. Instead of you paying 700 as a farmer, let's exchange your value of the maize meal, and then the 200 shillings will be cut off from your coffee. Instead of having people pick coffee for 700, let's have it pick for 500. So the kind of things that we're exchanging, and this token is really working with Flipdown, and Flipdown is an amazing organization. And as Monansi Green Initiative, we have been exchanging value in terms of farmer projects with farmers, projects with increasing our food security and all that. And one of the challenges you find that people in the ghetto or the places that are really disadvantaged, that we call ghettos here, especially in Wende, a place called Chibati, you find that some of these youth go ahead to rob places in order only to get a meal to survive. So,
exactly. So I understand that. So Munasi and Fliptown are two different organizations, but you're working together on different projects. Yes.
Exactly. And exactly. And there are other CBOs that we are also collaborating with. Like before you came in, we shared with Rob and Bezo. There's a kitchen garden that we are trying to start as a demonstration site, where we are showing these youth, even if you have a small space in the city, you can still use permaculture principles, and that's why we call it the Ghetto kind of permacity. Permacity means a permaculture kind of principle within the city, and we are creating a demonstration site, and we're exchanging value of these places. It's really amazing. That
are you only in Mubende? Sorry to cut you off, because I want to make sure I get on my next meeting. Are you only in Mubende or anywhere else?
Yeah,
it's not just Mubende. We have different towns that we are running different WhatsApp groups, and we keep making tours to all these different organizations that we work with in different towns. We have been to Chegegwa in the refugee camps, and we have set up a number of gardens there. We've also been to Kampala in Makindye in the ghettos still. We have helped them set up a number of gardens. We have been to Jinja, we have been to Ushenyi, and we have a number of different organizations in these towns that have actually fallen in love with the way we operate, because when we come in, it's very easy to work with them, because for us, we are proactive. We want to get something done. It's not going through a lot of bureaucracy. It's, do you have a community that we can work with? And then we show you how we can do something with the least number of resources in the community. So in our network, we also have a group of just the number of organizations that we are linking up with and sharing information all the time. So when you actually check out our Facebook and Instagram, you're going to have a number of videos. It's going to be like a real life story of the town growing from a very centralized kind of thing where everyone is not able to do something on their own. Everyone is waiting for the system, and the system is not delivering, to a time where people are actually now proactive and doing different projects and inviting us to different homes to do different things, different farms. So we have all this information on our social media pages, and we have kept them organic, but you can find their following is actually really, really high compared to any normal organization that we have. And yet we are purely organic, reaching out to different people and making sure we follow them on their social media. We go out and visit their projects. We have also worked with a number of women organizations, especially in this domestic violence and all these things. We have also created a number of films to share using the different talents of the youth in our community. Yeah. So we also have campsites where we have people come and experience a real African culture of life, and we are sharing about what things should have been like if we did not take on this civilization of too much concrete and too much of all these things. And the people seem to pick this idea because they themselves share stories of, hey, my grandfather told me about this kind of thing, and today we have shifted to this one, but the other one was way better. So we say, can we replicate that kind of thing? And then it's because we are picking from their ideas. They love it and they find that, wow, this actually saves me. I have a garden just around me. I don't have to go to the market just like everyone else is doing. I can pick food from my neighborhood, just like that. So we are actually looking out at sparking off the ideas in the community and making sure the community goes about them in a circular way on their own.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul.
Talking about food, there was a really amazing example here where today we had a mother who was really crying in the ghetto. She couldn't afford medicine. And at Munas Green Initiative, one of the things we emphasize on is having indigenous kind of plantations where we do fruit forests with schools. As if when you follow our YouTube channel, you'll be seeing all these indigenous trees that we plant with schools and all that. And within what we did today is we went to our indigenous forest and then we picked a few herbs and then we cooked up a cocktail of an amazing herb. And then the mother was really proud. And then 2 days later, the kid was kicking and then the kid was playing on the streets. So these are the kind of examples that make us proud and that show that our work is kind of working, where you have a fruit forest or a fruit indigenous forest that are with herbs and all that has been planted in collaboration with the school, and then it's later helping a community. And then there's a mother who is really desperate because by the time we found her, she was really crying and all that. We're like, hey, don't worry, let's make out an indigenous cocktail here within our indigenous forest. And it was really amazing. So these are the things that we're looking at. So now this mother has, for us as Monansi Green Initiative today, we've earned tokens from that mother. So anytime we need that mother probably to come to our campaign, probably to do anything, she's really willing to do anything. So these are the kind of things and value exchanges that we are looking at, whereby people are not free. We are using nature to serve us and then still have people survive in this other kind of would be say a system, a kind of capitalist system that we are trying to overcome, because we see it's not really working out. It's working out for a few people, and then the other 99% are left out. And these are the bloodline, the lifeline of the community. These are the people who serve the community. These are the people who wake up every day. These are the people who are serving, like, for example, in our community here, the people who sweep our streets, the people who like serve the market, the people who, the farmers who would really push our food security, because agriculture is our backbone. These are the people who are really vulnerable and they do not really know yet. These small plans or would be this small exchange would help us. So it's really amazing to have you, Paul. You already know Uganda. You can share more about Uganda with Basil. You can tell Rob what really Uganda is all about. Even the fact that we are having this kind of constant kind of connection and talking to really amazing people like you is also like a privilege here in Uganda, and especially here in Mubende. So we're hooked up in one place. That's why we don't even want to switch on our video. We don't want, because we have blackouts. You understand, I'm just preaching to a choir when I'm talking to Paul about Uganda. You know,
Paul needs to go pretty now. He's over his 4. You're on mute, Paul.
Thanks a lot. Paul, thanks a lot. I would like to hear from you.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, he's talking to another call.
Yeah. He might have.
If you're talking to us, you're kind of muted. Sorry.
Yeah, he might have jumped.
Wait.
How old are both of you?
I'm 29 right now.
And the other one?
28.
28. Okay. So let me say the last things and I gotta go. Number one, I don't know if you know my last name. My last name is Mutagamba. Have you heard that name before? Mutagamba.
Mutagamba.
Yes.
Mutagamba.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a Luganda name. I don't
Yeah.
know from which clan, but it's a strong name.
So
It's a
the
strong
reason why I'm telling you, my mother was Minister of Tourism before she died about 4 years ago. So she worked for the government. And so with that said, I'll put you in touch. Have you heard of Miss Tourism, the beauty pageant?
Yeah, sure.
We know about the pageant, but we don't know about the current who is holding the crown. But we're familiar with that.
My sister runs that pageant. So I'll put you in touch with her. Maybe you guys can figure out how you can do an artist thing or how to do a project with them, because they go around the country. So if you guys can tag along with her, tell her your goal, tell her your mission, because we do it every year. This is the 11th year we're doing it. And so you
That's
can...
an amazing platform.
It's a really amazing.
Thank you so
platform.
much, Paul. That's amazing.
I put my email there. So just shoot me your email information and then I'll connect you to my sister. There's another guy I know who is on Next Radio. At least that's what he was when I was there. His name is Rudende. He does morning show. Maybe you guys can get on there. I'll connect you to him. Maybe you guys can get on there and just talk about your mission. And then the third thing is we have some land that we're not actively using right now. So if you have any projects that need, the land, again, talk to my sister, and then we figure out something. So send me email information. I'll connect you to who I know, and then I can't promise anything, but at least I'll connect you.
That's a lot that you have already promised. Thank you so much, Paul.
You're already doing a lot.
Yes, so amazing.
You're already doing a lot. So we appreciate.
We really look forward.
Guys, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Paul.
Basil, thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
Later.
Bye, Paul.
It was amazing, Basil. Thanks, Paul.
And thank you so much, Basil.
Yeah, let's blow this up. It's Fliptown's looking good. I see the Open Collective site page. So quick question. So how do you give people tokens? You keep track of them for them, or do they have them on their phone somehow?
They have a track of their own tokens, but we also keep it communally open so that no one is, just like in the blockchain system of a computer, no one is able to replicate the token when we have to announce them every week. So we are able to track all the tokens and even have these individual tokens piling up in the face of the whole community, so that they kind of motivate everyone that, oh man, look, this one has more tokens than I do. I can actually go on and do all these things. And we've also been, personally, I do a lot of software development. I'm a very enthusiastic kind of computer person, and I've been into a lot of these tokenization systems. I've delved deep into decentralized organizations, and also working with a friend in Kenya who has actually gone ahead to develop a kind of local currency, and they've gone ahead to trade using their local currency, and they're even getting big stores to adopt their local currency. It looks like it's very possible in our communities, because they want some kind of, how can I exchange what I have right now with someone I can trust in the neighborhood, and they can trust that later I'll do the same thing. And then we also have these kinds of tokens negating themselves. When, for example, you pledge to show up for something and then you don't turn up, we also have a kind of negation system that keeps deducting this kind of mistrust that you're also developing in the community. Yeah, that kind of thing.
I see. So, but the tokens right now you're using, are they crypto tokens or just more manual?
They are more of manual, but we have also developed, we tried first with crypto tokens, but our community would not, they would not, first of all, most of them don't have smartphones.
You need a smartphone, you need internet. Yeah.
Yeah, most of them don't have smartphones, and then they were not even able to operate some of these platforms that are actually, we actually tried pushing seeds after getting introduced to seeds by a friend, and then just a whole platform of this is seeds, and then you can trade them. They are actually, I feel like they are not trusting this very well because they are in a digital platform that seems to be far away from them. So
Right.
we have a local database which we update with the community, and everyone keeps a kind of, everyone is evidence to this growing kind of tokenization system. Yeah, they can trust in this by themselves because it's transparent, and every time we have a kind of announcement meeting, we also share the token data, the kind of token sheets on our WhatsApp, and everyone sees this is so and so, and it's going on like this. Yeah.
So it's like on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's a form of spreadsheet. Exactly.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
An open kind of spreadsheet that we actually have to even print out sometimes. We are against the whole printing thing and everything, but because of our community, we have actually had a campaign of removing all posters and printing in our community, but sometimes we have to show them using paper, for example,
Yeah,
because sometimes they have to feel this tangible bit of this kind of thing, and they have to see you writing one, and this entirely builds the trust in this activity of showing them how the tokens are growing, as opposed to the digital system, which is you're only accessing your wallet and you're seeing how your wallet is growing, and you compare it to some people. When you check on, for example, when you go to some of these magazines, you're going to see some people that have accumulated a lot of Bitcoin, and no one knows what this Bitcoin is coming from, or what is, how this guy is generating all this Bitcoin, that kind of thing in the digital decentralized systems. But now in the community, everyone sees and says, hey, if I miss the next activity, someone is going to grow tokens and I'm going to miss out on this kind of thing. So it also, this activity also kind of motivates these people to keep coming and keep checking out the community.
That's just so you know. So like Seeds was big in 2020 and heading into 21, and then after they, there was a bit of a failure because of greed of some people. They sort of halted everything, and now they're going through a process to rebirth it, the version 2. But the key of it is all of the local, they call them rainbow seeds, but all these local currencies like you have with Fliptown.
Yeah.
And so then you have all of these local community tokens with their local circular economies. And then we can start to like create the bridges so that you can move from, that your accumulation of tokens in Uganda, but then you could go to Kenya or another community outside of Fliptown, and then we can start to like create trade. But the main thing is that locally it works, so that you can get healthcare, you can get groceries, you can get produce, you can get coaching or whatever it is, access, education.
Yeah, sure.
So what you're doing is like a perfect example of like local currency, local tokenomics.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing, right? Because it is, right? You're creating you're creating a local currency, and it sounds like you're able to get enough adoption, that people then are willing to exchange for that, and then exchange back, right? Because isn't that's the key with a local currency is adoption, is saying, hey, if I contribute and I have a token, then I can do something with it.
Yep.
That's amazing. And Bezo, thank you for pointing that point about seeds, because recently when I took my mental health break, I took a pause of seeds for some time. But recently when I came to revive my because I hadn't earned my seeds passport yet, the global passport yet. I still had this a normal seeds account. So when I came to log into my accounts with seeds, everything was telling me like what happened to when I was logging in today. So I couldn't quite get it. So I was doing everything right, but everything wasn't working out. So
yeah,
thanks for
that global passport is discontinued. They have the Seeds Light wallet. So if you can't get into your global passport, which is old, then then we let's talk about that later. And then get you on this the Seeds Light Wallet because I want to show you guys because I think it would be an amazing case if we could get Fliptown DAO to create an instance on Haifa on their new beta platform. And so that like even though you're keeping track of this stuff manually, you can still enter that in to like, keep a blockchain record of like the monthly like totals, you know, so that that's like preserved in like a distributed ledger, even though like locally you're using, because if we could find out a way that we can still use blockchain for like anti-fraud so that the organization Fliptown is not fraudulent. But then as far as the local community working with Fliptown, they're working with more traditional means. But if we can find a way to bridge between like hyper local and blockchain trust, that would be an amazing case to work out together in the coming year. Anyway, Paul wants to make sure I get your contacts. So your email, Rob has your email, right?
I have, yeah, I mean, I have Biarawonga's email, but I don't have Muhanji's.
Okay, so yeah, and Paul's email is there in the chat. What's Bunga? Bunga.
Yeah,
So okay.
but right, yeah, Muhanji, if you want to give your email or whatever the best contact information is for you. I mean, we have we have the website and the and the Instagram channel I can see.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my email here first, and then I'm very excited. I'm very excited about what Bezo just shared about having a bigger umbrella that actually lets the local currencies connect, because it's been a very big challenge. Everyone keeps asking, are we going to have a time when we can actually just directly exchange this kind of local token that we are developing? That we are developing with the currency of the nation, that kind of question. And I'm very sure most of our people are not extremely exposed, that they are actually not aware even what kind of trend Bitcoin is going with. They are not sure decentralization is the future. They are not yet, they actually have a lot of doubts working with decentralization and everything. Yeah, so when we have our people assured in the future, maybe in the near future, that our local token can be used somewhere else, this is going to give them a lot of hope. And I believe what you just said of getting our local database to Haifa is a very good idea. And we actually tried once with Colony, Fliptown Crash, colony.io, and we tried to keep updating all those things there, but their system does not, for example, take in a lot of information like we keep about what is happening locally. So you have to, for example, write a lot where it is not necessary in the platform. It's not built like that. So I've also shared the emails here. You can check them out. Oh, sorry, the second one is Fliptown, not FLIP.
Got it. Yeah.
So if we have a common goal and we can actually talk to our community and have a bigger vision of a world where we can actually locally move our tokens to different communities and they are serving. This one is like, it's like a very big dream to our community that would actually get more people knowing, because even when we have such meetings, sometimes we have a few partners out there. The email is fliptowncrash@gmail.com. Yeah. So we have a number of partners out there and different people that have very good experiences. And these people are passionate about a kind of circular economy, a kind of circular world for everyone. Sometimes we have different video calls, and just the way we are speaking here, when our people hear about this kind of mindset from different people in very faraway communities, they are actually proud and they say, wow, this is really right. because most of them have been sold to let me say the kind of information here and the way information is spread is very aggressive, and no one cares to know if it's right. For example, radio stations are going to they are going to pump out a number of adverts about very, very bad insecticides and pesticides and all these things, and the community is going to buy these things because they are on radio. And then when all this information is out there, and then maybe 2 seasons, 3 seasons, the community comes up and says, we are buying this kind of pesticide because it was being advertised on radio, but you can imagine the pesticide is only spoiling our crops, something like that. So it is very, very critical. Like Bezo just shared a friend, Paul, that we make podcasts and we get a reaffirming voice to our community. They'll say, oh my God, we talked to Newman today and he was talking about keeping our community green. And this is inspirational to them, because the system here, actually, even the education system alone has taught them to eat the entire planet, just eat everything. If you can find any resource, whether it's green, if it's a tree, you should cut it down for survival. So every time we talk and have these videos shared out with these different people in our community, they understand that the whole world is actually looking forward to a better world tomorrow, not eating everything the way the system is actually building up everyone in our community. So we want to have real love that can be experienced in our community. We need to have happiness that is actually entirely expressed in our people. And there are lots of mental health cases, for example, in our community, and we actually had to have a camp towards the end of last year that was focusing on mental health of the community, because of all the things that are causing mental health in the present day. But no one has the time to actually look at mental health as a serious topic in our community, because everyone would rather chase a topic that brings in money, So when you come and share knowledge and experiences about mental health and you're getting tokens, you're becoming a teacher and a counselor to the community. So we make sure that everything that affects the community reflects in form of a family. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's amazing. I mean, you're doing like really amazing work. I would say, because you're right, like you're doing the on the ground work of connecting the community and connecting communities with these, really new ways of thinking, or not, I mean, new now for our system. I don't know that they're, they're probably the original ways of, indigenous ways of thinking, but yeah, because we're, like holistic systems here, we're trying to, create this as well, but we haven't gotten, in a lot of ways, we haven't gotten to, the place where you've already gotten to, which is, really like a larger scale community value exchange, and people buying in, and people, like a good amount of people, like tracking their tokens. I understand in some ways, in an on the ground community, it might be easier because you have, right, there's ways where there's some value that can be exchanged that's more tangible. But I think there's a lot here. There's a lot we can learn, and all of this, especially the tools, this is still on the cutting edge. So I think, we really are on the cutting edge. And I think that if people aren't, people are still doubtful and not ready, to fully buy in, it's just because these are, in a lot of ways, the tools, are just getting going, to try and make that leap from, from the spreadsheet to the blockchain. So it's wonderful to hear. It's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing. And I think there's again, there's a lot that ways that we could all be collaborating with each other, and we can be learning from what you've done already.
Yeah, you're welcome, Rob, and we don't take that lightly. I just wanna remark on what you said. Thanks a lot for appreciating the small effort that we're trying to put here in our community. but I'll try to point out it's not easy as we make it look. It's really a hassle here to change the mindset of the people. But you find that here in our community, it's not easy, like having people like on board with these kind of ideas. So what we try to do is the advantage that we do have here is that Africa is an engaging or a welcoming kind of environment. If you have a new idea, people will always welcome you, and especially if you are the child of the soil, like for us, we decide that's why Paul was really asking whether we're in Kampala, because if you want to do something great or if you want to do something amazing, everyone thinks of running to Kampala. But for us, we decided to stay in our small community here in Mubende, and which is 156 kilometers away from Kampala. It's a small distance in a developed environment, but you find that you have to take that journey for 4 to 5 hours in most cases. And in other instances, it will end up being an 8-hour journey or a 9-hour journey when there's traffic jam in Kampala. With all those challenges, we still gain we have the trust of the people, which we don't take lightly, and we build on that. And the people are always welcoming, and they're always willing to listen to a new kind of idea, and especially if you show them the advantages and the benefits. So it's not really an easy thing like the way we're trying to make it. But what I'm trying to say is that having you appreciate the small efforts that we're putting on the ground shows that we're in the right direction. And having people who are already in, because for us here in Uganda, if we talk about the US, we kind of think about what has been sold to us through the documentaries, through the movies, and through these other things, the media, and then the news. US is a place of opportunity. US is an amazing place where people are really open-minded, but having to listen to the different challenges that are from the host's mouth. And then also when we get to listen from the host's mouth, we get to exchange and then see, okay, we probably are on the right pace, so we shouldn't be discouraged. We're on the right track. Let's keep pushing. So this is a really amazing opportunity for us, because as individuals from different kind of environment settings, Fliptown is a decentralized autonomous organization. Yet Nancy is typically like a non-governmental organization, which is really registered. So which is trying to unlearn and learn from Fliptown, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. So which puts like everything together. You gotta, if you we want to make a cake, you gotta get the dough from somewhere else, and then get the eggs from somewhere else, get the sugar from somewhere else, and then put all these things together. And I think what we've been missing is the icing on the cake, which is holistic systems. Holistic systems appreciating our effort is an icing on the cake, showing us that we are on the right direction and pushing us the right way, and also listening to the successes of holistic systems is really a learning point and a big curve, I would say, and also listening to the challenges, which is also a learning point, having to listen to holistic systems saying, hey, it's not an easy thing. We also have challenges here and there. Yet already here in Uganda, we think like if you're trying to push a project in the US or push a new idea in the US, it will be the easiest of places. Yet here we are getting it from the horse's mouth, like, hey, listen, guys, we are here on the ground, but I think you guys are having more success than us. Let's learn from each other, which is really a 180 to our kind of like mentality, even for us as organizers or outside leaders. It really motivates us and hits us in a different kind of way. So Rob, thanks for creating this kind of environment where we come and learn from each other. I know we are taking it this long past the hours and all that, and Bezo is kind of, I don't know whether Bezo is still with us, but this is really amazing for us. Thanks a lot, Rob.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, Basil's still with us. Yeah, thank you. That's Yeah, I appreciate, hearing that. And I think, I think what we're, what I'm hearing from you and maybe what we're both hearing from each other is, the successes that we've had, but also, the challenges of trying to, institute and create, these kinds of innovative systems, of community value exchange. And so it's helpful for me to hear, right, with your successes, it's also helpful for me to understand the, the challenges that you face as well. And, we're facing challenges too. It's, I have found it's people, there's a lot of people who are very, like excited about it and very interested. But it's also, it's taking a long time, or longer than I want, maybe, it's kind of, it's slow going. And I think here it's because, one reason is, it's hard. There's more, I think that there's, in the US, right, there is generally, there's more affluence, right? There's more, wealth and resources, but it is still difficult to break out of the system, the economic system that we're in is, it's very entrenched, and the machine is rolling along, at a, at a like a big steamroller or something, so it's sort of difficult even when people want to kind of try and pull out of that. I think, it's, it's taking some time. So yeah, all that is to say that, I'm glad to be speaking with you all, and, we can learn from each other and inspire each other. And, and I do think that these, that there is a way where, the challenges that we're having in the world and the global environment, are hopefully pushing innovation forward. And then also these tools can be used for, for positive innovation, the blockchain and tokenomics and DAOs and innovative organizational structures. So, I still think that we're, like I said, we're on the cutting edge. And so, good to be joining with each other. Yeah.
Cool.
So where should we go from here? Yeah, maybe we should start to think about wrapping up. I know it's probably late there where you are. Oh, here I'm looking at. I gotta check out that link. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was me, Biarango, who dropped in that link. You talking about the machine and all that. It reminds me of that speech from one of my favorites from Berkeley University. He's called Mario Savit. He's really an amazing character. Way back, I think from the 60s or 70s. That is a very amazing speech about the machine and all that, and the system and all that. It's something, if you have time, I think you can listen to his speech, 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I will.
Wow.
I'll check it out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the machine. I know it's amazing that we're still talking about it, and however, whatever, 70 years later. It's quite a machine. Yeah, thank you. I'll listen to that. So yeah, so we know that we've got emails, and we can connect you right with Paul. Where shall we go from here? I mean, I think that we can sort of think about how we want to continue to collaborate. I mean, as far as holistic systems, we're going to keep having these skill shares for now every other week. And then every other week we're having these community meetings where we're going to try and move forward how we're creating this system. So yeah, shall we kind of just continue to be in touch, and maybe see where we're at for the meeting 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to go Basil first?
Yeah, well, I sent the email to Paul with both of your emails. Um, so so yeah, I'll send you guys another email, maybe to get your WhatsApp number or something if that's easy to communicate. Um, and then yeah, I mean, for me, I'm as a producer, I'm looking at storytelling, how to tell the story of what you're doing, like through, you know, having you on podcast shows and other forms of storytelling. So I'm gonna have to look through what you already have on YouTube and Instagram. Um, and then yeah, and then I want to like to schedule a time with you to onboard Fliptown to test out Haifa and to help influence Haifa. Um, uh, to see like you know, so that we can like practice this sort of blockchain stuff too, this you know, higher level DAO governance stuff, and figure out this sort of how that works with like the local, because you already got the local down, that's working well, or it's working. So I want to you know you know continue to weave things together so that we have like a strong global ecosystem of a bunch of local entities, and then we can start to trade and start to grow this new, you know, Ubuntu kind of um, uh, economy. You know, this whole new, you know, the old way, bringing the old way into the new is really all we're doing. We're just like, how do we make it like good like the old days, but without the bullshit? And so we're just trying to like learn how to code out some of the negative things. And I like what you said about like you're taking points off, taking tokens off for like misbehaving or whatever. That's one way to do it. So anyway, yeah, just more discovery and you know, more storytelling and cross pollination. So like, you know, starting Rob to like bring, you know, more of these sort of leaders who are doing their local projects together, and we can start to learn and cross pollinate, you know, because that will influence like how we develop our core tools as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and one more thing for me. I don't know if it's possible, but even if it's like a screenshot or something, I would love to see the token spreadsheet. I'd love to see that if that's possible. Just how you're set, you know, how you're charting that and setting that up.
Yeah, sure. You've actually sent an email. I can share part of that and you're going to check that. Then
Yeah, I'm on that email with everybody.
which email shall I be sending it to?
Let's see.
I'll share with Biarhanga and he can share directly with you, because right now we are using his phone. We have no power around here.
Yeah, I'm at yeah. Pierre Wanga has my email. I put it in the chat, Rob at HS Cooperative, but I'll send.
All right, sure. Then I'll take a screenshot of a spreadsheet that has all these things and even try to explain them maybe when we have some little time to go deep into that.
Yeah.
And then to Basil about the bringing back the old kind of thing into the new thing. I feel like I've worked with a number of different, I should call them creatives, who are trying to actually mold independent communities out there based on value exchange. And I think this is the future, and no one can actually put it down right now, because blockchain has actually proven its stability, especially with trust and transparency. And this is what every kind of community wants. But I think the biggest challenge, our communities seem to be sold to a different idea of Bitcoin. So when they hear about Bitcoin, everyone thinks about a system where they get in like some kind of scam, a system where they get in and maybe get some money from in there. And then when they open up these online wallets, and then they take 1, 2, 3 months without seeing these Bitcoins coming in, or without finding a real way of earning a good number of Bitcoins. And then when they think about the fact that it's very rare finding a place where you're going to exchange Bitcoin into our local currency, they kind of get, they are not motivated to go about the blockchain system. But when they see how it actually operates in their community, I'm very sure when we, yeah, because we also first tried pushing the digital kind of blockchain systems using platforms that we thought were actually modeling out systems that we can copy and apply in our community. But the idea was very, very alien to our community. So, but right now with them understanding how these tokens work and everything in their own kind of way, they can easily understand if, for example, we are going in and maybe in future joining with Hypha and we have a bigger platform where they can actually learn about the different tokens that are operating in different communities. I believe this is something that will be very easy for them to buy as compared to coming and then telling them, for example, Bitcoin is the new way. This is how it does it. Very, very many companies have come with Bitcoin, but in a way of actually selling maybe Bitcoins that never even come to any charts out there. So people have lost trust in the whole Bitcoin thing, and yet we actually know it's the future. So we have to make them understand that, look, there is value exchange that is beyond what the system has restricted you to, and it's very, very important. And it's just in your neighborhood. You can actually tap into this pool of skills and resources like land in the neighborhood and all these things without actually using what the system has put as an exchange kind of barrier. So I believe it's a very good thing. And then also about Bezo talking about production and being interested in the story. I believe storytelling should be key in these movements, especially because the internet has been taken on by these big companies and big corporations that are actually pushing the system with lots of adverts and very, very captivating stories. And then we have very few stories about, for example, circular living. So I think we have a very big way to go telling stories. And I think, Bezo, that is a very, very good move. We still have to tell a lot of stories about circular living and nature and how we can actually have value exchange in local communities, because I think the system has actually embedded itself so deep in the minds of the people that we have to tell a lot of stories to make them understand that there is something that the system is actually pushing away from you that is very important just around you, and it has its value inside of you, you know. Yeah, so I think that's a very, very good step forward with these systems. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
just to,
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, please. Thank you.
just to add on what Mohanji has said, and combining it with the question that you asked, like what is the direction, or why is the direction where we are looking to go from here right now? So as a person who has been part of our holistic systems, it has been really itching my head. How can I get Fliptown on board? How can I have Mohanji part of these meetings? So my next, what I would think the next way to go is, since we're already collaborating with the Fliptown and Monastir Green Initiative on the ground here, on the real ground in different collaborative efforts on different projects, why can't we do it in the virtual world where we have our holistic systems collaborate with the Monastir Green Initiative and also Fliptown? So how can we have Fliptown on board? So I would think the next meeting that we would have, just to ask, I think I would text you via WhatsApp, Rob, and then organize on how we can have Fliptown really embedded into all getting initiated into the holistic systems kind of operations. And then this will be also a meeting where we catch up, and also for me to catch up and get back to the whole kind of membership portal and all that, and also having Fliptown acquainted with all these kind of holistics kind of things that we've been building together, and also filling me in, and part of Fliptown also getting to know what we've missed, because all these months that I've been away, I haven't been updating him on what has been going on. But fortunately, we are here. So I would also I would also appreciate getting filled in together at the same time, and also collaborating with Basil, having all these stories out there with D studios and all that. We also do our rudimentary kind of podcasts here. This would be I promise Basil he won't. I promise him that even if we'll be online or anywhere here in Uganda, he won't need to direct us so much. So he would be like working with people who are like already like acquainted or like initiated in the process. We really love sharing knowledge, speaking sense, and being out there and sharing our knowledge so that we can learn and also share our experiences. This is one of the biggest things that we want to do. One thing that we're looking out to is not having our story stay here. How can we push our story to have it all there? So Basil's platform is really a welcome platform. And also having to collaborate with Paul. Paul is really a unifying factor, because I think he understands the French that we are speaking. Sorry to use that word, because most of the times when we try to go into our social and political kind of economic setting, you sometimes I'm sorry to say, I don't know whether this is true, but to my expectation, I think sometimes we get to lose you, whereby there's this kind of culture whereby what is really obvious there in the US is not really so obvious here in Uganda. So you kind of find that this kind of thing that is really alternating or shocking or not making the system like really move on together or something like that. So Paul really understands the French that we are speaking. So having him on board and then also having him connect us with the different partners on the ground here, that is gives us more legitimacy, and it also solidifies operations and also engaging with this kind of different platforms. Because we've heard of Miss Tourism for a very long time, and this is a really big platform here in Uganda that really speaks volumes. So it will be a very welcome initiative to have Paul pushing us in the background, and also having him as a person who really knows what's really going on in the grassroots. So we don't take, I would say, collaborative efforts lightly, or introductions lightly, because the way I got introduced to holistic systems was through a collaborative effort with somebody who was doing their master degree at some university in Germany, who is Geoffrey Kalura. Proudly that he's the person who really pushed us to see how we can do all these permaculture things. So it's a whole web that we would like to keep on connecting and all that benefit, make more fruits. Thanks a lot, Rob. And thanks a lot,
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you both. Thank you, all three of you. Yeah, it's been great. Such a pleasure to talk with you all, and to meet you, Muhanji. And yeah, let's keep sharing ideas and collaborating. And so I think we've done good. To me, I'm hearing that we've got some good next steps. We've got some communications that are already happening. So yeah, let's keep those going forward, and everybody kind of will keep putting in their pieces, and let's just keep this collaboration going. I think it's great. I think we're just doing, to me, I just love it, because it's just what, like I always say, right? Like, none of this is my idea, it's not mine. It's not like Basil's, it's not Biarawanga's. Like, this is just, something that needs to be, developing, and happening, more and more. And so I think, that's when the real power comes, when we can connect, each of these, groups with each other, and then help each other to, really grow and scale, and gain that collective potency. So yeah, Muhanji, definitely. Yeah, send me the spreadsheet. These are things that's what I get most excited about. is the
Yeah,
value
sure.
exchange. So if there's something that's happening, you know, that's working, that people are really using, you know, I want to see that, you know, and it'll
Yeah,
help me. I
sure.
can show other people and say, hey, look, you know, we don't you know, the blockchain, you know, solutions are coming, but we don't need them, you know, now. We don't need to wait for them. So yeah, anything else to wrap up, or shall we call it a meeting for the day? Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm good. This is a good one. Yep.
Yeah, sure. I'll also be sharing the spreadsheet with you. And I think it's been a very, very wonderful time with you people. And I actually feel like every time we meet people with this kind of mindset, that I believe there are real people out there who are actually caring about the planet, and we are not giving it away to only these people who are looking at building the biggest nuclear bombs out there and all these things that we might end up having a careless future when we cannot even have any way to control it. I feel like we are even already too late. For example, we've been looking at the climate change, and then we have to have all these hard signs coming to us, and yet we have had technology for a very long time, and now this is the time when everyone is waking up, because videos are coming from every side of the world with all these bad kind of climate disasters with floods and all these things. And now people say, oh my God, I can't believe my whole village had a whole forest just some 10 years back, and we cut down the forest, and they're seeing all these disasters happening in other towns. Now they are aware that everyone, how wherever you exist and however small you exist, you actually have a very, very big role to play on the planet. And with a small grassroots activity, we all contribute to the health of the planet. So it's a very exciting moment today, having to share with the people at Holistic. Yeah, Rob and Bezo, it's a very, very exciting moment for me. And I look forward to actually continuing this whole communication and sharing all our, I should call them achievements and challenges, so that you can have, I don't know what kind of challenges you could be having in the digital kind of approach, but we have had a number of challenges in the digital approach. But we really believe in decentralization, because it almost gives a level of equality that cannot be accessed in any other system. So we can see how we can merge the local kind of mechanical and manual blockchain kind of ledgers that we are building, and see what kind of how we can bridge the gap between, for example, the economies in our areas and those that are extremely advanced and are already using digital blockchains and are very successful with them. So we really look forward to this kind of connection and information flow that can help us keep adjusting to better the systems that we are actually building, because I believe these are extremely new systems, and they still require a lot of innovation and a lot of education on our side, exactly, so that we can have some things that we can consider concrete in every kind of community, and maybe some other things that actually value, because different values, they differ as you move from town to town, culture to culture. So I think these are all things that we get to notice when we have a kind of cross community communication and sharing. It's a very powerful bridge that we are creating here. I'm very excited about what we are about to be having here in our community and the side of Holistic.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, unless Yoranga has something to say, but that's been a very, very good moment here.
Since I just popped in back, and it has been a long time since I haven't attended any meetings, Mohanji really sums up it today. It was really amazing to have Mohanji on board, and also Rob. I'll never, I won't tire saying this, like I always be appreciating. Thanks for me meeting you, and thanks for you appreciating and also welcoming me to your platform, and also having this space for us to share. And also, Babe, thanks a lot. it's a very big surprise for us, which was much welcome for Bezo. You have been here. I've always been following your work with the studio, and I've always wanted like to work with you. And also, I got to know about this studio through another organization which I which I volunteered for, which is I think it's called Footprints for Nature, something like that. But Bezo, thank you a lot, and also I won't miss out pointing out the point that thank you for bringing Paul on board. Paul is a person that is really well connected from what he says. I think due to lack of time, he didn't quite share his CV and what he could bring on board, but with a few points that he touched here and there from just from his I would say from the tiptoe, like just from the go, he managed to really show us like extensively how our project can be expanded and where our platform can be, and making us like trying to connect us with a platform as big as Miss Tourism here in Uganda. For us, it speaks volumes. So thanks a lot. It shows that our work is quite to, I would say to standard, for lack of a better word. It means that we are really doing really positive work. So it speaks volumes. So thanks a lot. My remarks today will be thanks a lot. And we are looking forward to having more work with you and creating an amazing platform. Thanks a lot, Rob.
You're welcome. And thank you. Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure to have you here, Biarawanga, and to meet you, Muhanji and Basil. Thank you for jumping in and doing what you do and connecting and weaving folks. And thanks everybody for keeping me inspired, which keeps me going and puts wind in my sails. So all right, well, let's all be in touch, and everybody have a good evening. And we'll see you. Hope to see you certainly in a couple weeks at the community meeting. But if you want to do co-working, that's what we're doing next Tuesday.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I will promise that when we get really acquainted, and then Singer comes into the whole point and comes into the whole loop, we'll make sure that if Munasi is not here, Flipdown or somebody from Flipdown or Munasi will always be here. So we're looking forward to getting into the whole Skillshare, the whole community thing, just jump into the whole thing and then get back into the whole machine and lubricate the gears and keep the gears going. Thanks a lot.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Talk soon. All right.
All right. Talk soon. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.